Don't Starve Together. I decided I'm going to play this game today. Well, this time, because Brawlhalla did not work out well at all playing out live. And I figured that this game would be a nice change because I've always wanted to play this game on YouTube, but I just haven't got a way to put replays up with this. So if I'm going to be playing a game live, I might as well play a game I enjoy live. So I'm going to be creating the world live as well, and going through the settings, going through what mods I use, going through my client mods, and then I'm going to actually start playing the game. But this shouldn't take too long because I have these settings I like to use all the time. So my settings that I like to have basically a classic endless thing, just so that the world never gets deleted. And in case there's like this noob who comes in and just suddenly dies, I don't have to revive the person, because I find that very tedious, having to go over and find someone and revive them. And then five days till you get resources for free when you spawn in to start with. Everything else is normal except for the hostile creatures. I have less pirates, I guess, because pirates are extremely broken overpowered when you're playing solo. They completely ruin your entire playthrough. I guess that's the reason why they're like that. I've had bad experiences with those guys. And I turned off Antlion Tribute because I play on controller, and with the mod I use to make controller way better, it actually doesn't let me fight Antlion because it keeps targeting the spikes instead, because it turns off the target lock function. And the target lock function is the only way you can fight Antlion in the first place on controller, because you keep on targeting the spikes instead that he puts up. So I just have Antlion Tribute off, so that way I don't have to fight Antlion every summer or do anything to appease him every summer, because that's way too tedious to keep up with every single time, if I can't even kill him. And then for the caves, I got more moles, and that's it, just more moles. With the world generation, I forgot about that part. I have more bananas that generate on the world for the caves. And on the forest, the forest, I guess, least branches and only classic resources. I am sick and tired of getting Twiggy Tree worlds, Grass Gecko worlds, and Juicy Berry worlds are okay, but they get annoying when you want to make it like a bush hat, when you don't have any bushes. But I'd rather just not risk it at all, because it's so many times I just wanted to reset the whole server because of how terrible it was. Wait, what does this do? Oh, you can turn off the terrarium. That's crazy, I didn't know that. You can turn off roads. Oh, wow. They've updated the game since I've checked this last time. Then I got more flint because I was having some issues a bunch of times when I would start playing the game, especially in public servers, where I could not find flint for like days. And I just wanted to fix that so I for sure have flint. So that's my settings. Basically, I basically play completely normal, but I have a few changes that make the game a little bit different. And then for mods, I like to go for global positions, which it will like we share the map, basically the main purpose for this. But we can also find each other, and you can hide yourself on the map. If you go into the scoreboard, you can press the little button that shows that's like the global position symbol, and it'll hide you so people can't see you on the map. But they might be able to see what you're still exploring. And that one is mainly just because I don't really like the aspect of not sharing a map when exploring this game when exploring the surface, at least, is something I don't actually enjoy in this game at all. I find that very tedious. So in case someone joins, I might get some help finding the map out faster. then I like to play with no extinction. How that works is the enemies will spawn randomly. How I have it set, they will spawn randomly on a spot in the map after 5 days if there was less than the number of these on the whole world. So if there's less than 3 beefalo, then there'd be some beefalo spawning somewhere randomly. If there's less than 3 volt goats, then they'd spawn less than 3 spider dens, less than 7 Catcoon dens, less than 5 beehives, less than 2 clockwork knights, less than 2 rock lobsters, and less than 2 slither mounds. This basically prevents people from ruining the world, including myself. So if everything's completely gone, then it'll come back on a lot of things eventually after 5 days. Now with the clockwork knights, that I wanted to have because I hate how gears are basically a non-renewable resource. They're absurdly hard to get back. I don't know of any way to get gears back consistently without going back to the ruins and resetting the whole thing by killing the Fuel Weaver. And I've actually never gone and killed the Fuel Weaver before. I've never actually found an interest in doing that. I always enjoy playing around in the game on the surface way too much. And then I always play with no thermal stone durability because, as the description said, that's the last item you would have ever wanted to nerf. I don't understand why they would change that. It really made the game a lot less fun for me when I had to use a thermal stone like that. Like, I already find thermal stones completely useless for the most part, but now they have a durability as well. Why would I ever use a thermal stone? So I need to turn no thermal stone durability on so that I actually would consider using them. Like for summer, for example. But winter, heck no, man. Probably not ever going to use those things basically ever in winter, but I'll consider it if there's no durability. And then wormhole marks. I just have wormhole marks on because I think it's way more convenient than just not knowing what wormhole leads to what. And I don't know what Fog of War would be in this game. I don't think that's a thing. That's a bit confusing. Oh, I actually pressed back. I had to reset the whole thing. That's crazy. That's insane. That's insane how it just lets me do that. That's kind of dumb. It should not have let me a thing. Let me just fix this really quick. There we go, close enough. Oh, the settings are still the same. That's crazy. Oh, something's wrong with the controller. Maybe they weren't the same. Oh, right, because it chose endless, right? That makes sense. What to say? How would it save the settings? Oh my gosh, the controller keeps on doing things. That's the. Okay, whatever. Just do this and it's fixed. And turn on the mods. Wait, that's the wrong one. And then I'm considering playing Cluster Plant Reborn as a mod on my server, but I don't know if I really need that. It's just extremely convenient to be able to craft a recipe that just turns the seeds into the plants all at once. But I don't think I'm gonna need that. Yeah, I think I'd rather do it manually. Then I have client mods. I always have these client mods on. Some of them are a little bit overpowered, but this one, auto equip at 1%, is pretty great because it takes off stuff that you would lose if it was empty. Basically, like any clothing that's about to break, it just takes it off automatically. And I love that because, you know, I hate losing like my beefalo hat in the dead of winter if I forget to repair it somehow. Or if I can't repair it because I don't even have a sewing kit, for example. And then combined status, this thing is just, I can't live without this thing. I really, like, mainly I just want to see the numbers underneath my stat bars. The rest is just like bonus stuff. I don't really need it. Like, the moon showing on dusk is a bit overpowered, but I memorized when the full moon happens and when the new moon happens, so it's not really at all cheating for me. Yeah, quote-unquote cheating. Oh wow, I didn't know that was a thing. I can't mouse over things because I don't have a mouse. I'm playing a controller. And when I play the game, I'm not going to have a mouse out at all. I don't really know what these settings do, to be honest. I haven't looked into settings like ever. I just know that when it's on, it's helpful. And then extra controller features. This is the thing I was talking about earlier that makes my controller way more playable, but I can't find Antlion with it. It's kind of weird, but it makes it to where the game is a lot easier, like, for me to play at all. Like, you kind of see when I'm playing how the controller would jump and select things that are like not even close to me at all or behind me. That kind of stuff is really necessary if you want to do good in this game on a controller, and that's why I really need this mod. And then indicators, this one, I won't deny, it's definitely like pretty broken. Like, let's say Deerclops is spawning in, it'll show exactly where he's at instantly. I just like this one though because I always panic when a boss is like spawning in and I have no idea where he is, because for all I know he could be going over to my base and destroying it if I'm like not far enough away. And then item info, this one I don't really need that much except for the perish info. I always need to know how long till a food's gonna go bad. That's what I really need to know, because I really don't like not knowing when the food's going to rot, as I plan my foods around the times that I do like a complicated thing where I plan the foods on my meals for every day in the game around how long it takes until it rots. So you lose 75 hunger a day, and if you have food, like, that means you need to have 75 units of hunger total food eaten per day. So let's say you got bacon and eggs, that's 75 food. You want to have 1 bacon and eggs per day for how long the bacon and eggs will take to rot. So if it takes 7 days to rot, you want to have 7 bacon and eggs. Well, to get stale, I mean, but like, once it's stale, it's basically useless. It gets way less stats. Like, it's still edible, it still helps you, but it's not nearly as good. So you want to eat it before it goes stale, and I always like to plan it out like that so it works perfectly like that. Oh, I just realized you can't even see my mouse cursor. Oh, I don't think you can, at least. And then this, just a little helpful thing where it shows the season seeds can grow in. It helps me memorize that a bit better. I'm not going to be farming too much probably, but I might go for it. Depends on like how the round goes, how the mission, how the world goes, whatever it's called. And then this, the crockpot, the cement crockpot, I don't need this. I just have it on so that if I'm ever like not positive about a recipe, then I can just check and I'll be like, oh yeah, that's how that works. But I've actually memorized practically every single crockpot recipe in the entire game, in even the best possible ways to make the items. As well as with item info, this isn't exactly like cheating at all for me, because I've memorized all the stats, like the hunger, sanity, and health gains on basically every food item in the entire game. I could just list them off. It's crazy. So seeing the stats above them means almost nothing to me, as long as like only the perish meter matters to me. And I don't know what this installation thing means. I have no clue what that means. I've always seen that stat. I'm like, huh, what does that mean? Anyways, now that I've taken forever on explaining this stuff, which I thought was pretty important to get down first, I'm gonna generate the world. And I'm probably going to be playing Willow, I think, because last I know, I'm a Willow main. Willow is just so versatile and convenient in general life. I was, like, the only reason I think why I'm not a Maxwell main, well, there's 2 reasons. Like, one, he's as frail as a duck with only 1 leg, and 2, I don't know a very efficient way to get Nightmare Fuel on him anymore, ever since the rework. Before, I don't really remember what he was like before too much, but I know that you could like hold a Dyke Sword out and just stay insane the whole time and constantly keep on getting Nightmare Fuel. But then again, back then it costed way more Nightmare Fuel. Like, it costed 2 Nightmare Fuel just to get a Shadow Clone, and then you could like kill the Shadow Clone to get 1 back. And in this version of Maxwell, you can get 5 shadow clones for the cost of 1 nightmare fuel. Because you've got to refill the book, and the book has uses. So it's kind of absurd how easy it is to play Maxwell now compared to before. He's actually overpowered. If it weren't for his health being so low, it's only 75, and the normal's 150. If it weren't for his health being so freaking low, he would be the perfect for me. Because I hate chopping down trees all the time myself. I find that really tedious. And recruiting pigmen to do it for me is a waste of time, because when it turns dusk, they just run away and stop doing it. So basically, if you're not playing the right character, you can't really chop down trees without being like a normal casual Friday chopping down trees slowly kind of thing. And so wood's always a bit of an issue for me. Because I like to make a bunch of builds and build a lot of things. It takes wood. And man, I wish that I could play the old Woody. The old Woody was so cool. But the new one is like, the only reason why I don't like the new Woody is because he's always starts off literally starving after the transformation. And I just don't find that to be fun at all. Because I plan my meals perfectly to last throughout a certain amount of time. And it's like suddenly 2 days of my food is gone. Just because I transformed 1 time. I don't like that at all. That's way too costly. Especially because his forms are kind of useless in most situations. The moose can be stun-locked. The werebeaver is actually probably the best, and the goose is very helpless. And of course, when you're transforming back, you can easily be smacked up and murdered by like anything around you, because you're just completely stunned for like a whole 2-3 seconds. Also, I am feeling a bit off today because I ate way too much food last night. So I should be fine. It shouldn't be noticeable, but I might like, if I act a little weird somehow, it might have to do with that, like make weird noises. And so I'm gonna play Willow. She starts off with Bernie and the fire lighter. I'm gonna be using some pretty weird strategies as I'm gonna be showing off my Willow main tactics. Oh gosh. I hope it's not going to be laggy like this. If it's going to be like slow, then I might have to see what I can do about that, because I don't want to play the game if it's not running smoothly. I do things that are pixel perfect when I'm fighting, and if there's even a single second of lag, it can completely ruin my entire strategy. Yeah, that's getting consistent. Okay, hold on. See if I can find out what's happening. What is this gonna do? I guess it just looks like OBS is taking up a lot of my CPU. And combining those up together, it's too much. That's a big problem. If there was some way to make OBS take up less of my CPU, I think I'd be okay. But I might not be able to do this actually, because apparently I don't have an extremely overpowered CPU like I thought I did. That's really depressing. I think it's always going to have to be like this. There's nothing else that is taking up my CPU. It's just OBS. Some like weird provider host server thing that probably has to do with me hosting a server. Dang it, I didn't want to pick that. And Don't Starve Together itself. Both taking up about a third of my CPU each. Dang. I don't know if I can play like this. I'm very used to having laggy situations happen, but I don't want to have it, especially for my own YouTube video on my own server that I'm hosting. I can't think of any way to fix this. Man, honestly, I should have expected something like this to happen. I can't get anything to work right for me. Every time, something always goes wrong. Especially if I want to do it really badly. Like, the game's pretty playable, but it's just gonna bug me constantly. And it's gonna make fighting really hard. And I can't imagine it's that fun to watch someone keep on, like, teleporting and glitching. That's really bad. Maybe I'll have to put the series on pause then, until I can find some way to fix this problem. My only hope is that I can go into Stream OBS itself and change something about how it's recording so it records, like, easier for me to play. I don't know if I can change the settings while actually recording though. What? How did that pause? I literally pressed pause. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know how I could fix this. I don't know too much about what all this stuff means that I'm looking at right now that you can't see. That's really, I'm racking my brain right now, and I can't think of anything to do. It's really messing me up right now. So the grass should have been picked there. Oh my gosh, yeah, this is unplayable. I can't even kill a butterfly. It's so hard. Well, in that case, I think I'm just gonna have to scrap this. Like, by scrap this, I mean scrap the idea of playing Side together today. And instead, just play Brawlhalla again, and hopefully it won't be a complete mess. So I'm just going to upload this video as it is, because this is just an introduction to Don't Save Together, I guess. And then I'm going to make another video about Brawlhalla. So yeah, I'll be doing that.